With a heavy heart that I have to say this, Metroid Prime 4 development has literally been reset. Seriously, it's been reset. Not figuratively, seriously. It's been reset from the beginning. Let's get into it. What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and I am back with a heavy heart full of news for my second segment of the CGE news show. Can I report on something happy? So, Nintendo released a video talking about the development of Metroid Prime 4, which has been a highly anticipated title that we have seen since 2 years ago at E3. So, we see right away on the tweet that it just talks about the quote-unquote development. Doesn't give anything away. It just says, hey, check out this video to hear about the development of Metroid Prime 4. And as someone who is interested in Metroid Prime 4, I clicked it. And what I was met with was Shinya Takahashi, who is responsible for the development at Nintendo, with a very solemn background and a very non-energetic looked face. That face does not look very happy, if you ask me. He went on to talk about how fans were so excited for Metroid Prime 4 and how the trailer first popped up, like I said, at E3 2 years ago. But since then, we have heard nothing. It's been utter radio silence about Metroid Prime 4. For 2 years, we haven't heard anything whatsoever. He went on to finally say that it's time for them to show some form of development process as to what is going on. He went on to say that standards have not been met with the game, and that how Nintendo is constantly striving for the highest quality possible when it comes to their content, and for when their fans go to play it, that the fans expect a high sense of content when it comes from Nintendo, which is, you know, very true. And that they decided to look at the development and the structure of Metroid Prime 4, and that they were going to completely restructure the development and restructure it all and change it. Specifically, he had mentioned that the producer of the game, Kensuke Tanabe, is that the proper pronunciation? I am sorry if I'm butchering the name, I'll try again. Kensuke Tanabe, to work in trust, in collaboration with the original developers of the Prime series from the US of A, Retro Studios. Now, with that happening, he clarified, and he said this twice, he reiterated, that the development of Metroid Prime 4 has essentially been reset. From the beginning, restarted, redone from scratch, basically, that development has been restarted. Ouch! He went on with his sincerest apologies to also relate the obvious news that the game would be greatly delayed. Which, yeah, is kind of, you know, assumptuous to say, but I think it's pretty obvious that, of course, the game is going to get delayed because development has been reset to 0, basically. So, if you guys want to know, the game was originally supposed to be developed by Bandai Namco, and I don't know what happened. So, obviously, if Nintendo was not happy with the development of the game so far, I guess they weren't happy with what Bandai was doing. I mean, that's what I would assume. I mean, if you're starting development from 0 again, and you're literally saying that you are not happy with what's been so far and has been up to the bar of quality, that just means, that's just a polite way of saying that we don't like your work is crap to us. Doesn't necessarily mean the work is garbage, just that it wasn't hitting the bar of quality that Nintendo wanted. And that is a little bit depressing, but there's also a silver lining here. You see, because Retro Games is most known for Metroid Prime and the new Donkey Kong Country series. And both games are fantastic. If you look at Metacritic, you can see that Metroid Prime is basically the best rated Metroid game. I mean, with the first game garnering a 97 out of 100. I mean, it was crazily universally loved, the original Metroid Prime game. And to have Retro Studios back to continue on that legacy is something that's actually really amazing, and there's some silver lining here, and that's very good, which likely means that we are going to get a product that is going to be absolutely fantastic. But the thing is that it's literally, the development has literally been reset to 0. And that means that we're going to be waiting a while, and I got a feeling that we're going to be having a Breath of the Wild situation going on, where Metroid Prime pretty much gets ported to the next console, but also for the Switch at the end. It depends on the Switch's life cycle, depending on what Nintendo's plans are, because if you think about it, if they were to have started development 6 months before, minimum, we'll say 3 months, no, we'll say 6 months, 6 months before the initial trailer of Metroid 4 had been released at E3. Let's just say, for the sake of fun, it was probably in development longer, but let's say for the sake of fun that Metroid Prime 4 was in development 6 months before we saw anything at E3. That means that 2.5 years have just been flushed down the toilet. 2.5 years. Now, what are they going to be reusing anything, any assets from Bandai Namco that could help? I don't know. But by the sounds of it, this isn't sounding good. I mean, like I said, they literally just said that it's not reaching their bar of quality and they're not happy with it. Whether that might be the story, maybe Bandai and Nintendo just weren't getting along on this project. I mean, Bandai and Nintendo have a good relationship to my knowledge. Bandai helped with the Pokken tournament, if I'm remembering correctly. So, I mean, they gave Bandai a Pokemon title, which is their second biggest next to Mario, basically. And they entrusted Bandai with probably their second biggest IP. So, I don't know what could have happened. I guess they just weren't happy, and that's just that's it by the end of the day. So I do have to say, I do want to compliment Nintendo on something, that they got cojones, big cojones, for doing this. They could have not said a word and just leave everybody in the dark about Metroid, and then just casually mention in an interview, oh yeah, it's being done by Retro now. That's what happened. Yeah, I remember that game now. Yeah. But no, they were clear and crystal to their fans. Which, are we seeing a new Nintendo? Because Nintendo recently has been on my good list. I mean, Nintendo has been on a naughty list for a little bit with the content creation, and some of the games came out that were, you know, But, not all games, but some games have been but recently they've been coming up with really great games, and their content creation rule has been lifted where we are allowed to show footage of games and not get copyright struck into the ground, which is something that is incredible, really. So Nintendo must have some form of new business plan to show some clarity to the fans, because that's incredible. It really is. It's incredible that they can do that now. So they're literally coming forward, and they're going to get hit by investors. There's no way that they're not going to lose money in investors. Investors are going to see this video and they're going to lose stock. Of course they're going to. And yet they still came forward, okay, with knowing that they're going to lose money over this initially, and they still showed crystal clarity to their fans and let them know that they are restarting development, and that's incredible. It's really incredible to see that. And I'm actually kind of proud of Nintendo. Even though that this sucks, this really does, at least we now know that Nintendo is being clear with us about the development of Metroid Prime 4 and knows what the fans expect. So this is good news in some sense, bad news in another, but hey, at least we know that we are very much likely going to get a great quality game as Retro Games, the original developers of Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, are going to be working on Metroid Prime 4 and no longer Bandai Namco. Thanks so much for watching. Cue the extra.